This is the third time you and I have had a conversation as well.
Is it only the third time? I thought it was. I thought we were on at least. I thought we were on number 4.
We've known of each other for years.
Yeah, we've been anecdotally aware of each other for
Right.
quite some time.
If there's somebody else out there with the name Jared Stern, it's going to make it very difficult. And I remember finding you on MySpace and being grateful that you were funny. I remember I'm like, oh, if this guy sucks, it's going to be fucking terrible.
Hey,
and then I was like,
back at you.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it.
Here's the other thing I think we need to do is just establish why people should give a shit.
Oh, that's a valid point.
Yeah. Because no one, outside of our friends and family, no one knows who the hell we are.
I think that people should listen because we're desperate for attention right now. we are.
Yes. This is what I like to call an exercise in benign narcissism.
I'm Jared Stern.
I'm also Jared Stern. And you're Between Two Sterns.
This is the third time you and I have had a conversation as well.
Is it only the third time? I thought it was. I thought we were on at least. I thought we were on number 4.
I mean, we can count it off. The first time we heard each other's voice was while playing Fall Guys, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah, while streaming Fall Guys. Well, not streaming Fall Guys, but while playing Fall Guys, yes.
And then the second would have been, it was when we had the FaceTime. The second was the FaceTime.
Wow. Okay.
This is number 3. This is 3 on the board.
But like you've said, it feels like we've been talking the whole, for as long as we've known each other.
Well, we've known each other. We've known of each other for years.
Yeah. We've been anecdotally aware of each other for
Right.
quite some time. All right. So how do we want to break this down for people? Because this is my thinking. Initially, the people who are going to listen to the first episode are going to be people that know us.
I was thinking the same thing.
Or know about us in some way, shape, or form. So
the first episode or 2 has to be fan service to just because I'd be willing. I think we start at the beginning at this point and go when did you first know I existed? Because I know exactly when I first. Yeah.
Here's the other thing I think we need to do is just establish why people should give a shit.
Oh, that's a valid point.
Yeah. Because no one, outside of our friends and family, no one knows who the hell we are.
Exactly. Have you ever seen the documentary 3 Identical Triplets?
I've seen I haven't seen it, but I've seen it.
Enough, yeah. First of all, I highly recommend it. It's one of those documentaries that you think is going to go one way and just gets so absurdly more screwed up as you continue to watch this thing. It's absurd. But I think the absurdity between you and me is not that we have the same name, but how similar we are as people outside of the fact that we've never really known each other.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that people should listen because we're desperate for attention right now. we are.
Yes. This is what I like to call an exercise in benign narcissism.
I like it. Yeah. To be quite honest, people in my circle, and I don't know about yours, have been waiting for this for years.
Oh, really?
This is like the reboot of your show that you watched as a kid, finally coming together. This is Pacino and what's his name? Finally, De Niro finally performing. Yeah. So
wait a minute. So in your circles, how aware are they of me?
Everyone. In fact, everyone I speak to, even casually when picking up a coffee at Starbucks, I mentioned that there's another Jared Stern out there in DC because it's too good of a story. A lot of my beginning of doing stand-up started because of you, ironically.
Huh.
So
wait a minute,
really? Yeah. So when I was young, my first time doing, relatively, I turned 30.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Well, first of all, what's our age difference? I'm 38. You're
45.
Right. And then our birthdays are quite close. I'm September 16th, 1982.
September 24th, 1975.
That's right. And so, which is also very odd. But when I was, I guess, I want to say 20 or 21, that's when I was working at a theme park called Sesame Place. So I was doing a lot of staged interaction, a lot of crowd warm up, and I kind of got the jolt from doing a little bit of stand up doing that. I wanted to get on stage and do it myself. And so I went up to New York City to do an open mic. I drive up to New York with my girlfriend, a couple friends of mine, and I had no idea how open mics worked. I didn't realize that you had to
Uh-huh.
book yourself in advance. I just went up there hoping to get on the list. And I put my name on it. I forget the name of the club, but I put my name down on the list, and they go, "Oh, you're Jared Stern?" And I go, "Yeah." And they go, "Oh, we've heard of you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, in my head, I went, "No, you didn't." No, this was back in 2000 and something. 2000.
Well,
this was before an iPhone. This was before the iPhone.
I know when you first contacted me
Right.
via MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
Yeah.
2006. I went back in my
Okay, so it
blog.
must have been 2006 then.
Yeah, because I was, at the time I fancied myself a humorist, and had a blog, because everyone had a blog before every schmuck had a podcast.
Right.
So I had a blog spot, and I remember, and I went back through the history. I was like, when the hell did this all start?
Right.
And it started with me finding out about you, or you contacting me through my fucking MySpace.
And I contacted you because of this gig, because I went out and I was like, ah, shit, if there's somebody else out there with the name Jared Stern, it's going to make it very difficult. And I remember finding you on MySpace and being grateful that you were funny. I remember I'm like, oh, if this guy sucks, it's going to be fucking terrible.
Hey,
and then I was like,
back at you.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember seeing you and I'm like, okay, he's funny. That's good. And then for 15 years, I've used you as a protective shield against any type of corporate work I do. Like if it's ever come up that are like Jared Stern, it's always been locked and loaded being like, oh, there's another stand-up comedian. There's a stand-up comedian named Jared Stern, same name. I'm so sorry, because we don't look alike. But back in the days of the photos you were putting up on MySpace, I could sell you as being me in bad lighting, or me as being you.
Well, I mean, listen, I remember what my headshots looked like back in 2006.
These are the sideburns.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, well, we'll get into that. Yes. I've grown as a person. Thankfully, my sideburns have not. That was a dark time in facial hair for me. And, eventually, once people get to know us, I will reveal those pictures to the audience, however many, hopefully, dozen people they happen to be.
Baker's dozen. I'd be thankful for that. By the way, if I keep squirming in this chair, speaking of hair, I had my back waxed today, and that was an incredibly So I don't know what your body hair situation is like, but we're jumping right into it. I trim every part of my body hair with the exception of my eyelashes. Without that, I would be Robin Williams. I would have like a fur sweater, but I'm very fair. My hair is very light, so you don't notice it at first. But for years, the running joke was that I only had girlfriends so that they would shave my back. And then a year or two ago, I found like this online back shaver, which just kind of scrapes the hair off of your back.
Like
my
back
girlfriend,
Flowbee.
Yeah, kind of like that. My girlfriend recently shaved my back twice, and she was like, "I'd like to wax it." And I go, "Okay." So I have video of me on a kitchen island laying face down where her and a friend of hers are taking far too much joy in just ripping follicles out of my back. And it is so difficult to lean back against this chair right now. I feel it's important to establish that if I keep squirming, that's the reason why.
I have only ever had my eyebrows waxed.
The middle right here?
The middle right here, yeah, because if I don't do something, they eventually decide to commingle.
Yeah.
So otherwise, body hair wise, chest pretty good, and some stray ones on the shoulders. Other than that, I'm not, I'm not howling at the moon or anything like that.
But you got the dark hair. The dark hair is nice for accentuating features. I don't. It's terrible. I'll let you know a little secret. One of the only reasons I wear glasses here, first of all, you can see my eyebrows have absolutely no color at all.
Yeah, it's very tough to tell if you're surprised.
Exactly. The eyebrows store the expression, as we learned from Will Forte in Last Man on Earth. That's why he had to get the little ones taped to his face. The glasses are like 70% aesthetic, 30% function. They're on the top to give me the coloring of what should be my eyebrow color.
Very nice.
I've been told that people oftentimes think I'm angry when I'm not. Are these safeguard away from this thing, which has been a nightmare because, as you know, I had COVID. I caught COVID.
Yeah.
And the hardest part of COVID for me personally is the fact that even though it was difficult to breathe with COVID, it's even harder to see wearing a mask and wearing glasses because they get fogged up.
Fogged up, sure.
I can't stop wearing the glasses because people are under the impression I need the glasses. They can't know that they're purely aesthetic. So now I've gone from being able to see to wearing the glasses to now not being able to see in the glasses because I got to wear the mask and they're fogging up at the same time.
Have you tried the tape? Have you tried putting like a Band-Aid or something over to
I haven't gone to that extreme. I do the tuck. I tuck the mask up underneath the glasses, but I'm a hermit at this point. I got high risk people in my circle. So like I'm never out doing anything.
Hey, God bless you for being safe, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just kind of break down how we've kind of been orbiting around each other.
That's a good point, yeah.
So I first became aware of you back in 2006. You were you out in LA at that point, or were you?
No. So in 2006, so I moved to LA for like 3 months when I was like 23 years old. I moved out here with a guy who blew all of me and his brother's money. I knew his brother. It was his older brother. And the three of us were moving out together. He flew out ahead of time and he blew all of our money on Coke. Nobody bothered to inform me that this kid was a recovering Coke addict, with less emphasis on the word recovering.
Yeah, sure.
On the Coke addict part. Fun story about that. I flew out here. I had no place to go. And so I slept for one night in my car in the parking lot of the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Yeah.
That's how a lot of good comedians' careers get started. So there you go.
Yeah. And 17 years later, it's working out really well for me. I still sleep there. But yeah, so then I flew back and then I spent most of my time on the East Coast after that. So yeah, I wasn't in New York at that point. I was living in Philadelphia. And I went up to New York that one night. I did the gig and I was like, oh, there's another Jared Stern. Jumped on the MySpace, which by the way, we should create a MySpace page for the podcast.
Does MySpace still exist?
I think it does.
Because I know like Timberlake bought it, but I don't. Does it exist in its previous form? Like, are people fighting for people's top 8 spaces on the friends list? It is Tom's not there anymore, right? I mean, I don't
know, but I feel like this is something we definitely need to look into. There's no question that we need to revisit the origin. You got to try and log into your original account.
No, I mean, I couldn't get in through that back window of my old MySpace apartment if I tried. I mean,
You don't know your email from 15 years ago?
I mean, I guess I do because I'm a Luddite and I had a fucking AOL account, so I probably use that. But yeah, I've never even thought about that. Or maybe I have and I tried and I think they've revamped the site such that the old profiles just aren't around anyway, but that's
terrible call by them. Yeah, but we'll figure it out. So I messaged you on MySpace. I think you said that you found the letter. We'll throw it up on whatever the site we have for this, the website or we'll throw up the original message that I reached out to you for. I thought I was pretty well spoken for a 23-year-old kid. I look back on it in hindsight, it was solid.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I mean, I was like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
there's plenty of Jared Stern to go around. I believe that was the title of the blog.
That's right.
But all right, so and I've been doing stand up. I mean, I guess I've been doing stand up for a little bit longer than you. I started in 2002.
Okay.
And I was 27 at the time. It's one of my big regrets is I didn't start sooner.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen how my career my career trajectory, I'm fine with it. Whatever, it's good. I'm pretty sure my sense of humor when I was 21 was garbage, and when I was 27, it wasn't great. It wasn't great to start out with.
Well, given the way the culture has evolved, I do look back and I go, I'm really happy I didn't push as hard as I could have in my early 20s. Not that I had anything that wouldn't age well, but I know so many comedians that are just getting destroyed for stuff that they put out in their early 20s.
Oh, sure.
In the kind of cancel culture and the new phase of sensitivity. Not that I would have done anything really that would have really set anybody off, but it's nice to start with a clean slate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Luckily, when I got started, I was never pushing that many envelopes. I mean, you've heard my material. It's very,
it's edgy.
Oh,
it's edgy.
Oh yeah, real edgy.
I highly recommend looking up Jared Stern, The Secret Dark Material.
It's funny. My wife, was it my birthday or was it for Hanukkah or something last year? She got me a legacy box, which they take old media,
right,
and they'll put it on like a thumb drive for you. So I had a bunch of old VHS tapes of old sets from when I first started back in 02, 03, of old open mic
that's awesome
stuff, old shows. And so I picked out 10 of these tapes, and they're now all on a thumb drive.
That's so good.
I went through them and put together like a best of reel, which is on my YouTube channel. I guess I can go ahead.
Subtle plug.
I'm just saying.
Do you want to throw the link up there?
Well, no. I mean, eventually we're going to be plugging everything,
I know.
Right?
I'm not screwing with it. What is your link? What's your YouTube?
I believe it's Jared Stern Comedy. I should know that off the top of my head, but it's not. I'm not entirely sure. We'll put it in whatever link or whatever the kids say. We'll put it in the comments or
we'll hashtag it.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description of the video. How about that?
There you go. Down below. Don't they? The kids point. They point to the down below.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash it. Don't just push it.
So yeah. And so I would be doing road gigs, and I know more than once, I would play like the Harrisburg Comedy Zone, and your headshot would be up when I was going to go work the club. So some wires got crossed when they were searching who was playing, and that's So I was aware of what you were doing. To your credit,
by the way, you were always so kind about it. You were always so you were such a nice guy about it. You were never I would get these messages from you every so often just being like, hey, just so you know, if you're booking anything, really make sure that they know that you're that one and I'm this one. So I suspected something was going on because I didn't know the particulars of it, but I feel like I would hear from you every year or two. It would just be like a, hey. And the funny thing is when you reached out, I was doing fucking nothing. I was doing absolutely nothing.
Well, you had jaredstern.com for a long time. I did
have jaredstern.com for a while, and I generously gave that up. In no way did I.
I'm not really doing much with it, but it's there, and it's got my picture now. So
we'll share it like custody of a child.
Well, I'd like to think that the podcast will live on jaredstern.com in some way. There'll be a page on jaredstern.com that will be devoted to Between Two Sterns.
That's the every other weekend of,
sure.
of sharing the website.
Well, listen, I figured our relationship could have gone one of two ways. Either congenial, or at some point, I hunt you down, cut off your head, and take your quickening. I mean, that's really...
This is the Highlander.
Right, exactly.
I had at one point planned to propose to you a Jared Sternoff. Did I ever bring this up to you?
I don't know if you did.
I might have at one point over the years where you pick the venue, which was my subtle way of being I have nobody who will book me. But you pick the venue, you can have home court advantage. I'll come to you. We both do 20 minutes or a half an hour. Audience votes. Funniest guy gets to keep the name. Other person has to go by Jared. Audience chooses the middle name Stern for X amount of time until we do the competition again.
Wow, I'm really glad that didn't happen because I would have lost custody of my own goddamn name. So anyway, fast forward now.
Yeah.
You were living in Bethesda.
Well, this is a huge jump, but I will talk, give you credit for a little bit. You and I became kind of friends on Facebook. I would say that we had a 1 year, 3 or 4 message banter that was going on for a while.
Yeah, I
would pop up. We would wish each other a happy birthday.
Right.
I would lose her mind about it and laugh about it. Oh my God, hilarious. And then we would move on.
Listen, it was a healthy way to live vicariously through myself, if that's possible.
So yeah, it's really funny, not to jump around too much, but as people, ask, they're like, "Oh, you're working with somebody?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "Who?" I'm like, "Jared Stern." They're like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!"
Right.
I'm telling you, more people are interested in this on my end than not because.
Well, good.
Yeah, I mean, we might actually get people listening to this.
That would be fantastic.
But yeah, so I believe I reached out to you back in. I think I messaged you before I moved to Bethesda. because because it's almost a year ago, because I interviewed for the job a year ago, and I was living in Inglewood in California in a Filipino woman's garage that had a kitchen. It had a full stove and a refrigerator.
You've lived a very full life for us.
I've taken care of that aspect of that lifestyle. You've really locked down the staying married part, which I'm really proud of you for.
Thank you.
I took on the way of the divorce thing. Don't do it. I'll take care of that one myself. It's not.
I'm trying to be as stable as I possibly can.
That's right. When you're a Jared Stern and you find a woman who loves you, you hold on to her for dear life.
Hold on to that woman. That's right.
But I got this job offer. So ironically, my whole family ended up relocating down to Bethesda. So my sister went first. She got a job with a company. My brother then got a job with the same company. My sister got pregnant. My parents moved down there to kind of help out with the child. So I'm the only one not living in Bethesda, which is just outside of Washington, D.C., which is where you live. And do you want to give the people your exact street address?
You know what? We'll save that for future episodes so people can send fan mail. That's fine.
Of course. And so I end up interviewing for this job that my sister randomly gets for me. I'd message her. I was like, if you find anything, let me know. And she's like, you have an interview. I interview for the job and they want me to start in 3 weeks. So I pack everything up. I'm moving across the country. And one of the thoughts I had was to message you. I'm like, well, shit. Now I'm going to be within 3 miles of this guy.
This podcast was supposed to be taking place in the same goddamn room.
I was going to say, this is the true fuckery of all of it. This was if you think 2020 screwed you over in any way, if you're listening to this, watching this, what 2020 really took away from you was Between Two Sterns in the same room.
In the same room, yeah.
Which was what it was supposed to be. You and I were supposed to get together, and like the pandemic hit, like 3 days before we were supposed to meet up.
We were supposed to go grab coffee or something like that, and then all of a sudden the lockdown hit.
And it was just one of those things where it kept getting, and then I got COVID. It just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. And we'll make it a big thing on Between Two Sterns, the actual meeting in person.
The actual meeting. Yeah, when Bruce Banner meets the Incredible Hulk, And
when I hire a far more attractive version of myself to show up instead.
I have to say, and obviously people can see a side by side here. I believe you're probably the prettier of the two Jared Sterns.
I will take prettier. You're the more rugged and handsome. I'll say that.
the more Clooney-esque.
Please tune into Between Two Sterns while you watch Jared Stern and Jared Stern flirt with each other, feeding the narcissism. No, it was so mind blowing because like we were right there. We were about to do it, and it felt like, what is it? It's like when two atoms slam into each other. The CERN particle accelerator, which is.
I was worried what would happen if we were to ever shake hands, like the space-time continuum would collapse.
All apart.
Because I've always considered you an alternate universe version of me.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So dimensional walls would crumble. It would just be it'd be a whole thing.
It still can. We don't know.
That's true.
And it could just be a bunch of different versions of us in different bodies, all existing in the universe. I mean, that's our narcissism to another level.
Well, and another thing we'll get to, or we can get to it now, is there are other Jared Sterns out there. There is
a clip of him. Please acknowledge the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, there's the Jared Stern. There's the top of the heap Jared Stern, the successful one, who wrote like Lego Batman and Wreck-It Ralph. I believe he's got a credit on.
He's doing Green Eggs and Ham on Netflix coming up.
Green Eggs and Ham on Netflix. He was a producer or a writer on like Ken Jeong's sitcom. He's, I see us pop up on credits all over the place, and my friends will ask me, "Hey, when did you write this Pixar movie?" And I'm like, yeah, well, funny thing about that, I'll be happy to take credit for it, but
in those, just like very simply say, you're like, I'm not even allowed to talk about it. They never should have put the credits, my name in the credits. Now I've never had any association with him, but I believe
I've gotten a couple emails that were meant for him.
Yeah.
Because my email address is Jared Stern Comedy. I know yours is like what? Yours uses your middle name, so
that's my middle name in it.
Yeah.
He must have the Gmail because neither of us have the gold, the Jared Stern at gmail.com. Neither of us have this precious gem.
Right. So I've gotten a couple things for him. Like a woman was trying to do a fundraiser and wanted Ken Jeong to appear.
Right.
And I'm not sure why they thought. I guess because he was a writer on that show, they thought that there was a connection there. But the big one was this guy who is like an entertainment lawyer out of Salt Lake City.
Okay.
He had a movie script that he wanted written or punched up or something, and was willing, wanted to employ the services of Mr. Jared Stern. And now I'm happy to I'm not a complete dick when it comes to this sort of thing. So I immediately
You're an honorable dude. You're an honorable dude.
Yeah, I like to think that I am. So I immediately said, "Hey, listen, I'm not this guy, but I'm a but I'm a comedian who's been doing this for however long, and I'll be happy to take a crack at it." And the guy said yes. So
What?
I ended up doing some script work for this thing. I don't think nothing ever came of it, but.
I would love to see how you sold this. I'm not that Jared Stern, but I'm a Jared Stern. So if you're looking for just a Jared Stern on paper.
Yep. If what you're looking for is just a Jared Stern and not that particular Jared Stern, then you're in luck. So yeah, but that was the last time that happened. That was like 3 years ago. 4 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. In any case, so the holy grail is to eventually have that Jared Stern on this podcast.
I can't think of a single reason why he wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't either, and I don't know why I haven't bothered trying to contact him. I think I have. Maybe I've sent him an email. Maybe I've sent him a chat over Twitter because I'm following him. And every once in a while, if he tweets something, I'll like it just to see if he'll,
Yeah, because Jared Stern. Sure. What we need is the army of Jared. We need to start small, slowly accumulate an army of Jared Sterns, and then leverage those Jared Sterns against him.
Well, there is another one.
There are two more.
Well, there's an offensive lineman for the University of Pittsburgh. Who's named Jared Stern. Well, because I do casual Googling every once in a while because maybe we share this trait. I'm a narcissist, and I like to see where I show up in Google searches of myself.
Absolutely.
But the other one is a private investigator who is out of Rockville or Silver Spring. He's in the area. Well, in the DC area.
He's in the DC area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a voicemail that was meant for him.
Interesting.
This was like 10 years ago. And I was like, I have no idea what this means. It like they were like talking about some kind of case file or something like that. And I was like, am I in a lot of trouble right now? Because I have no idea what's happening.
Just feverishly Googling, just trying to figure out what the hell happened. You find this guy. Isn't there one connected to Maxim magazine? Isn't like the editor-in-chief of Maxim magazine?
No, not that I'm aware of.
When I was pulling pictures for the podcast and whatnot, I was doing Jared Stern. I think it showed up.
Also, there's a Maxim magazine still?
Apparently.
Are they still doing the Hot 100 in this day and age?
Yeah, they advertise it on MySpace. The new Justin Timberlake. Well, I think the other thing that's really interesting about you and I is I think that, look, if you're going to be in the entertainment industry, especially if you're going to be a stand-up comedian, there is a necessary amount of narcissism that needs to exist. You have to have enough, you have to believe in yourself enough to say, I have something that people want to listen to, and if you give me the proper attention, I can deliver on that.
A delusion of self-importance, yes.
Yeah, that's the exact way of putting it. But for two people with the same name, one thing I always come back to is you're just a genuinely decent guy. Like you really are. And like in this industry, it's so rare to find. Just not like most stand-up comedians can be, kind of off-putting a little bit. But like you're a genuinely decent guy. We have a similar name. We're both kind of closet nerds a little bit. Not even closet.
But
the absurdity, like part of the reason we're doing this podcast is because whether you're coming here just to like laugh in some like positive, good energy, without this kind of constant negativity, or just interested in the case study, you and I are oddly similar for also having the same name.
Right.
Between our likes, our dislikes, we've used our name in similar way. I'll throw it out there. We both independently learned the anagram of our name being
sure. Darn Jester. Yes.
Darn Jester. We've both used Dirage, which is our name backwards, as names for things.
In like maybe a Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Dungeons and Dragons stuff I've done it in. It's absurd when we really started like getting the ball rolling to see. And so at this point, we have enough between us that's similar. It's interesting to kind of expand on this podcast and see what our unique opinions are about things.
Sure.
And where we kind of cross in. This is why I want you to watch Three Identical Cripples. Try and watch. It's a good watch, and it's similar enough to what we're doing that I think it's worthwhile for you to. Yeah. Do you know? You know the premise of it.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, it's like it's three guys who like different separated at birth. Triplets separated at birth. Okay.
And it's separated at birth, who eventually found out about each other, but then it expands into like why they were separate. It's insane. Like once you start getting the ball rolling on this thing, it goes out of nowhere. Now, one other thing. You and I did not coordinate wearing the exact same color either while we're talking about similarities.
No, we did not.
Not the same shirt, but definitely the same color.
Yeah.
What are your bottoms looking like? Are you wearing normal pants or are you wearing like COVID pants?
Sweatpants.
Yeah, I got sweats on all.
I want to be comfortable for this.
Right, of course.
I mean, one of the other things I'm thankful for this, also, you're also a genuinely decent guy.
Oh, thanks.
One of the things I've struggled with in my comedy career, is that I don't have a hook.
Yeah.
Don't have a hook. I am just your average mediocre white dude. What? A Jew in showbiz? And like I've had auditions for, all those shows, America's Got Talent, Last Comic Standing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. And they had I was filling out the form for Last Comic Standing, and it said, tell us three unique things about you. And I was like, I got nothing. So yeah, like on all these shows, you see comedians who have overcome a great deal or face some kind of hardship in their life, or only have one arm or something.
Right.
That there's something about them that makes them completely unique.
Yeah.
I don't stutter.
There was the deaf comedian.
Sure.
On that one season. Yeah.
I mean, and good on all these people. I'm not saying they are not funny. They are.
Yes.
But they have a hook to like bring the audience in,
Yeah.
And I have never had that. And I feel like this thing that
this is
that we this is kind of a hook. So
this is the hook.
Please be interested in us is what I'm trying to say, people. For the love of God.
We have no shame. We'll beg. If begging's what you want.
Yeah, then we're here for you.
At this point, we just need as much attention as possible. It's not. First of all, Jared's wife is a very, very sweet woman who I've never met or spoken to. But the fact that she's been married to a Jared Stern this long speaks volumes of her patience and her understanding. But she can't be the sole source. If Jared is anything like me, being around me is like an exercise in constantly trying to make people laugh. I find so much joy in just the giving of laughter that I will relentlessly try. Oh, wait, hold on. This might be funny. Stop. It's like, Jared, we're in the middle of a show. I'm like, yeah, the show can be paused. Hold on. Is this fun? We need to divert our attention elsewhere. So we're bringing it to you. We're bringing it here. Yes. Your name is also Jared Stern. Don't compete with us because this is our hook. We already got it.
Yeah. We have a Jared Stern on one side, a Jared Stern on the other, and then there's the between. And then so if we introduce a third or a fourth, then that's going to screw up all the geometry.
We're on either side of the country. It even fits thematically so well. Between two Sterns, you got a whole country divided between us, and Jared Stern are going to bring them back together. That's the purpose of the podcast, to unite the entire country.
Right. Between us, it'll be like Jared Sterns across America.
Were you about to do it seemed like you were about to do a
Yeah.
dump as you went.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing I figured we could start doing is just taking suggestions from people as we go. You know what I mean? We can throw into comments. We can throw onto the social media stuff. Like, what would you be interested in seeing us do? Do you want us to comment on anything? Do you want our opinion on things? Do you have something that you're curious to see, that type of stuff? We'll do anything.
Review stuff. We can, we'll play against each other in various video games.
There you go.
We're open. We can, we don't know what the hell this is going to be either. We're just happy that this worked. That his camera's working, my camera's working.
Internet held.
The internet held up. Apparently, it's raining in LA. Sure,
the first time in 5 months. The state's been on fire for half the year, and now it's finally raining. I guess trying to find a way to conclude this, but for those few of you who are going to watch this all the way through and get to this part in the ending, like, you're now seeing it. Like, I know at least 20 people who I've known in my life who will watch this thing all the way through,
God bless
just to see the experience of seeing the two of us next to each other and talking. And I hope it's as interesting for you guys as it's been for us, because this is the third time you and I have ever spoken. That's the other thing. We speak as if we've communicated with each other for years. And to establish the level of narcissism that we have, in less than 3 times talking, we decided to roll a camera during it. We were like, the second time we were like, this is too good. Let's just roll the camera next time.
We gotta record this. That's a good place to cut it. Good place to end. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year, by the way. I don't know if we're gonna do this again before 2021, but I think we can easily say fuck 2020. Here's to actually having a life outside of a computer screen the next year. And
ideally, when that life kicks back up and you go back out and you see all your friends and you get to experience people in person, still reserve enough computer time to watch this.
Yes.
Because you got to be very selective at this point. You've been binge watching a lot of stuff. So
yeah, you know what? We're competing for your eyeballs, and we can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But look at us. Come on. We deserve your eyeballs.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's a good way to end it, just to kind of let it peter off. You know,
that's fine.
Like
trail
a slow. Yeah.
Can you
just imagine us continuing to mutter back and forth to each other, the volume slowly getting turned down to the screen.
Can you fade the music back in?
Yeah, right. We'll fade the music back in right now, and then, we'll slowly start turning our own volume down.
There you go.
We'll do a high five to the camera and slowly, there we go. Now